illustrious history, Pebble Beach Golf Links will host the U.S. Women's Open, the only major championship that takes all you got and gives everything back. Be there when history is made and dreams come true.
Been my dream since I was a little girl.
Witness this life-changing championship in person, July 5th through July 9th in 2023. Purchase your tickets today at uswomensopen.com/tickets.
Yes, you're a small business owner, but you're also a doer, a problem solver, an up at 3 a.m.er, a get-it-doner. To you, there is no business as usual. And that's why American Express Business is offering a line of cards packed with features and benefits like membership rewards points, flexible payment options, employee cards, and much more to help take you and your business further. Because when it comes to getting what you need, it's not personal, it's business. Built for business by American Express. Don't do business without it. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business cards.
Building things in America is the right thing to do. Hi, I'm David McNeil, founder of WeatherTech, and protecting your vehicle is also the right thing to do. With American-made products like our laser-measured floor liners and cargo liners to contain any spills and messes, the trailer hitch-mounted bump step, which guards your bumper against costly rear dents and scrapes, or easy-to-install, no-drill mud flaps. And now the Cup Phone keeps your hands safely on the wheel while your phone is secured in virtually any size cup holder. Find everything at WeatherTech.com.
The Hyundai Tucson comes with America's best warranty. It's like a mental vacation from worry that no other brand offers. Whether that's up into the mountains to hit the slopes on a ski trip, cruising down the coast to the beach, or hitting the trail. So take a mental vacation, or better yet, a vacation in the Hyundai Tucson and leave those worries behind. The Hyundai Tucson with America's best warranty. It's your journey. Test drive the Tucson at your nearest Hyundai dealer or learn more at HyundaiUSA.com. Call 562-314-4603 for complete details.
You're listening to coverage of the 2023 United States Open on US Open Radio, Sirius XM 92, and on the SXM app.
Isn't it nice to get exactly what you want? Introducing the new My Plan from Verizon. With My Plan, you pick only the perks you want and you save on every one. So you're getting exactly what you want in your phone plan and only paying for what you need. All on Verizon's award-winning 5G network. And for a limited time, when you bring your own phones to a Verizon store, you can get My Plan for an incredible price. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan for an amazing deal. It's your Verizon.
Stream anywhere with 2 app logins. Enjoy our greatest content, opportunities for live VIP experiences, and prioritize customer care. Plus, get access to Stitcher Premium podcasts and over 5,000 audio and video concert recordings through nugs.net. Call 844-711-8800 and become a VIP. Offer details apply. Not available in Canada.
Visit www.SiriusXM.com/go to sign up online quickly and activate your radio. If you haven't subscribed to SiriusXM yet, you're missing out on over 140 channels of sports, news, talk, and entertainment, plus commercial-free music. Get play-by-play from your teams, your favorite music, commercial-free, and personalities like Howard Stern, no matter where you live. Unlock it all now. Activate your radio by visiting www.SiriusXM.com/go to sign up online quickly or call 844-711-8800 now.
Raw Dog Comedy is your home for today's best uncensored stand-up.
I laughed for 20 minutes straight, hysterically.
With comedy from your favorite hosts and friends of the shows you love.
So what have you done with your life, okay?
Patrice O'Neill, Colin Quinn, Mark Norman.
We're extremely lucky. We should be grateful.
Plus tons of other comedians and new releases all on one channel. To hear Raw Dog Comedy, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or go to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly.
Amazing moments happen so much at SiriusXM. We want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artist you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer. XM Channel 92.
For the birdie, rolling it up, Matt Fitzpatrick to the edge, and he makes it!
Hear coverage from Los Angeles Country Club right now.
That means Matt Fitzpatrick is the winner of the 122nd U.S. Open. The English flag once again flies on USGA soil.
The U.S. Open on Sirius XM 92 and the SXM app, including with all of our trials and popular plans.
SXM Fight Nation. Get inside the octagon for all the UFC Fight Night cards on Channel 156. Plus, hear the preliminary bouts and pre- and post-fight commentary for UFC pay-per-view cards. The UFC is on your home for combat sports. Sirius XM Fight Nation, Channel 156, and on the SXM app.
To hear the UFC on Sirius XM Fight Nation, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visiting SiriusXM.com/go.
Rondo Deportes, bonjour. Vidi Vidi Vici, let's get ready to rumble! Welcome to the show. My name is Charlie of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe. According to me and people who love the universe, I love saying, what a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be my? Won't you be my? Won't you be my neighbor? Today's show is sponsored by the Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them Charlton of Big C Sports Center, as well as driving the fleet of Cadillac cars all over the universe. But you gotta also pay attention to the speed limit, if that makes sense to you. On a beautiful Juneteenth celebration, which is actually coming up Monday, but today is a beautiful 16th of June, and I really look forward to a lot of celebrations that are going on all over the country as we pass reparations for the first time in history. Give that some praise. We're going to honor the President Abraham Lincoln and no more shucking and jiving, but the checks will not be televised, so you better pay attention. Either lead, follow, or get out of the way. You can follow Big C Sports Podcast on 27 podcast applications all over the universe. On Google, Alexa, Spotify, Speaker Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio Podcast, Castbox Podcast, Deezer Podcast, Podtack Addict, Podchaser. I meant to say Podcast Addict and I said Podtack. So maybe that's a new one coming on. You can also follow Big C Sports Podcast on GeoSavan out of London, England, as well as India and Africa, YouTube, Podtail, Hubhopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Repod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes, Podcast Wise, Podbay, Verbal Podcast, Podcast Podacy, Podcast in Public, Good Pods, and the only one that used to scare me, but now it doesn't. It's allfeeds.ai. Give that some praise. The robots are trying to take over, but I found a new switch. It's called the Teddy Pendergrass switch. If you want to have the robots, you got to have the Teddy Pendergrass switch. And when Teddy says, turn them off and light a candle. So sometimes robots don't want to listen. They're like animals. Sometimes you got to train them. You got to train these robots to listen and stop taking away human jobs, if that makes sense to you. Give that some praise. You can also follow Big C Sports Podcast streaming OTT on 4 TV platforms: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. Hopefully coming to BET. Wouldn't that be something? The great Tyler Perry buying BET. My show is a little bit different today because I want to make sure I pay homage to what's going on with the Black Wall Street and Juneteenth. I love saying, because it's so true, it's so important, the National Black Wall Street Project 2023 Summit Awards and Barbecue, Saturday, June 17th, the 2023, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. God bless it. And we're looking for solutions now. It's about solutions. And it's put together by the inimitable Reverend Tony Pierce, president and CEO of the National Black Wall Street Project at the esteemed First AME Church, Los Angeles, California. And the address is 2270 South Harvard Boulevard in the beautiful city of Los Angeles, California. Looking forward to being a part of that with Big C Sports. Also, I love saying what I do for every program. I love paying homage to our Veterans Crisis Hotline. They are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be a veteran to call in. It could be anyone that's dealing with some stress. Sometimes people are stressed out because the world sometimes can be pretty mean. And sometimes people that you love or that's supposed to love you, they turn against you. Like some people, they want to burn their own house down to hurt people instead of putting the fire out, if that makes sense to you. And I know there was a story one time, this gentleman said he was going to wait on the Lord. And so the flood was coming, and the fire department came by. They said, it's going to start flooding. We want to get everybody out. And the person said, no, I'm just going to wait on the Lord. And so the fire department had to take off. Then the water started rising high. And next thing you know, they had a big boat came by. It looked like Noah's Ark. And he said, come on, we got to save people because the floods are coming, and we want to save as many people as we can. And the person said, no, I'm just going to wait on the Lord. So then the floods got so high, the person had to climb to the top of the ceiling of his house. And so the helicopter came, and it had one of those baskets that said, we can save you, but we don't have much time because we got to get to some people down the road. And the person said, no, I'm just going to wait on the Lord. And so, next thing you know, the storms kept coming and the person drowned. And when he got to heaven, he said, God, why'd you forsake me? And God said, well, I told you the flood was coming. I sent a fire truck. I sent a boat. And then I sent a helicopter. And you still said no. So sometimes we need help. And the Veterans Crisis Hotline is just like that story. Don't be ashamed to call it 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do it, give them some praise. Because our first responders, they know we all need somebody to lean on. And sometimes people are waiting on God. And God's sending you the help you need. But it's in the form of a human manifestation, if that makes sense to you. And God also sent you Big C Sports. No other sports show. Not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, not seven in the universe will talk to you the way I do. I just do it with my higher self. I'm not saying this for everybody. It may or may not be for you, if that makes sense to you. But I love giving God praise. And I know some broadcasters, they get in trouble if they start praising God on the airwaves, if that makes sense to you. I want to say for you good boys, sports betting, they say they come with substantial risk. If you ever meet somebody and they got their tagline, we come with substantial risk. It's like some commercials say, Calgon, take me away. Some people know who put that ad together. And some commercials say, it's finger licking good. Well, you know that's probably the Big C Burger. And then there's some other commercials that say, the ultimate driving machine. You might know what that commercial is. And then there's some that say, it tastes better in your mouth than it does in your hands. You know that's the Big C Burger. But whatever it is, sometimes them gambling, they make you think you're going to get rich. 800 gambler, you're giving your credit card to somebody sitting on their toilet pleading the fifth, and you're giving them your credit card number so you can win the game. Nobody really knows how games are won, but there was a movie by Will Smith called Focus, and I think it was so real. I know some people don't believe in that stuff, and that's why they lose a lot of money. I've been charting games since 1996, and I'm accurate about 90% of the time, and that's even better than the guys down in Vegas. But I don't gamble, and I just don't want to gamble. 800 Gambler. If you have a gambling problem, I want to say thank you to Xfinity Comcast TV, Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, reparations now, reparations forever. Isn't that something? When God told Moses in Exodus 4:10-12, he said, go down into Egypt and tell Pharaoh to let my people go. And Moses said, well, who do I tell him sent me? And God said, tell him I am sent you. But Moses said he was afraid. He said, I'm not the most eloquent speaker. Could you find somebody else to go talk to those people? And God told him, according to Exodus 4:10-12, I will help you speak, and I will teach you what to say. And oftentimes, people just need someone to hold their hand. We all do. I know I do. It's nice when somebody wants to hold your hand and not break your fingers, if that makes sense to you. Everybody has their own flavor of Kool-Aid. I want to say, for today's show, I want to also give a little shout out to Comcast, because they're doing a commercial for Big C Sports, and it says, it's time now for Big C Sports. And I said, do you really have to make it scream so loud? And they said, Curry, it's your voice that we're using. And I said, me like this track. Y'all very little more. I really do appreciate it. I love paying homage on my beautiful show like nobody else does. And to my family legacy, especially on Juneteenth. We all come from Africa. All life came from the continent of Africa, according to Dr. Leakey and Gregory Mendel. And I just appreciate people know the science of it before Florida bans all of that knowledge, if that makes sense to you. But I love paying homage to my beautiful family legacy. All of us come from the Eve gene, and everybody, either you have a positive gene or recessive gene, but God created all of it. And there's so much racism. I want to see racism eradicated in my lifetime. I know it's been around for a long time. Race really was a social construct to make people feel there's a hierarchy in life. But according to Dr. Leakey and Gregory Mendel, the hierarchy in life comes out of the dominant gene, which is called black. The recessive gene is called white. And you can get the recessive from the dominant, but you cannot get the dominant from the recessive. But God created all of it. You got to give that some praise. And that's what I want to be a part of with Big C Sports Podcast. I'm not just going to read the stories and scores on who's bigger, stronger, and fastest. You can change the other channels for that. And I'm also going to champion reparations, because it's going to happen. As I say, reparations now, reparations forever. I love paying homage to my beautiful family legacy. On my mother's side, my great-grandmother called her Mama, beautiful, loving, kind woman. Always making sure lots of love in the family and lots of food in the belly. Really do appreciate her. Just an amazing person. Always making sure that we had everything we needed. And that's part of life. Sometimes you go through life and you want somebody there for you. And nowadays, so many people are trying to burn down their own families. They will spend time putting their mouth on their own family members, because they'd rather burn their family down than try to go to God and pray. And then some of them take their sorry butts to church as if God don't know what they're doing. I know so many people that are trying to burn their entire family down. And then they go out and talk to other heathens who think that they want to hear that crap. They got their own problems. There's people just doing all kind of crap in this country to destroy each other. Maybe just lift the word up in prayer. Ask God for favor. Juneteenth is about something. It's about bringing people together. A culture, the original people of the planet went through hell since the Middle Passage. And we're going to fix it. We're going to repair the damages. And Big C Sports is a part of that repair. On my beautiful mother's side, my great-granddaddy called them Pop, former military men and former Negro League baseball player, known around his church buddies as making the best moonshine in the history of the universe. And for saying, boys, get out of that bar now. Also, he loved baseball, runners on first and third. The count's full, the pitch, curveball, swung on in deep, left field, back to the wall, home run. He would say hello to my little friends. He said the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. But he hated when we would hit deep in the house. He said that's not what it meant for kids. Oh Lord. My brothers and I, sometimes we would play, football in the house. Sometimes baseball, not with a real baseball, but just sometimes the lamp don't know the difference. It didn't fall anyway. And we had a pool table, and my brother and cousin was wrestling on the pool table one time and tore the carpet cloth on the pool table. But we just glued it together and kept playing. But so many things I just appreciate growing up. And then my beautiful grandmother called her called her a mud deer, a beautiful, loving, kind woman. She was a seer. She could off the top look at a person and tell you a lot about their past, their present, and their future. Really do appreciate her. Then my grandfather Hezekiah, another wonderful person. A seer could off the top look at a person, tell you a lot about their past, their present, and their future. And then I can always depend on my mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Started a Head Start program, a food program, and also coached an all-boys Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. Give mama some praise. How many women have started a Head Start program, a food program, and then coached an all-boys Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe in an all-men's league? And some of those kids and those parents said, I would not have my kid listen to one of them. And she told them, she said, quit. But we won the championship anyway. Imagine the pressure she could have had if she didn't have faith. Imagine the pressure she could have had if she didn't know how strong she is, not only genetically, intellectually, and spiritually. But some of those good old boys, the devil has kids too. But they tried some shenanigans, but it didn't work. My mother always said, Isaiah 54:17, that no weapon formed against it would prosper. And I learned that a long time ago. And that's the thing I see about people today. A lot of people they will burn down their own house and everybody in it, and they'll try to find a dumb audience for it. And sometimes they do. They think they're hiding from God, but they're not. But they will burn down their own house and the people in it because they're pissed off about something. And then they go to church with their phony butts asking God for prayers. Why would God honor that garbage? People burn down their own house just talking about people. I heard T.D. Jakes say, let them talk about you. Get your stick together. Give T.D. Jakes some praise. Everybody has their own problems. But what kind of human being will go out of their way to burn down their own house and the people within it? Doesn't make any sense. And then they try to find the devil's audience. And they're proud of it. That's crazy to me. Too many people do that. And coming on into Juneteenth holiday, I am so grateful. I'm just grateful. I want to give that some praise. Love my mama with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. In fact, at the church, everybody wanted Mrs. Curry's cooking. At the restaurants, everybody wanted Mrs. Curry's cooking. And at home, everybody wanted Mama's cooking. She say, son, how many plates have you had? I say, curry for 3. You know, growing up, my mother took care of cousins. She took care of nieces, nephews, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. It took a village to raise a child. And now you have people, some grandparents, they want to bring the gasoline to pour it on the fire to help burn down their own relatives. Just as evil. And then they take their sorry butt to church, as if God doesn't hear it. I heard Joel Osteen say one time, someone came to him and said, Joel Osteen, you know, people are talking so bad about you. You want to hear what they had to say about you? And he said, no. I don't want to hear it. Let them deal with the people who love that audience. He said he's going to praise God. And I love that message. Just give it to God. Just give it to God. When you have some sorry butt person that they get turned on by burning down their own house. I just rather give God praise if that makes sense to you. I really do appreciate that. Love my mama with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Then on my beautiful father's side, my grandfather, Albert Curry, who was a pastor, he had 2 churches in Oakland. He built the 3rd church in Central California with his own hands. And he also owned 2 gas stations in Oakland, one on Bancroft, the other on Foothill. And then he owned 40 acres of land, which I was really impressed with. I learned about it when he was talking about it when I was a little boy. It's like the Emancipation Proclamation, where President Abraham Lincoln was working with Frederick Douglass to craft the Emancipation Proclamation, where every free black man would be set free. And unfortunately, when President Lincoln was assassinated, President Andrew Johnson came along and he vetoed the bill. He said, burn it down! And he gave the land back to the Ku Klux Klan. and the insurrectionists, the Southern Confederate. It was black men that helped the Union win the Civil War. And as a reward for all that garbage through slavery, Lincoln gave every black person called freedmen 40 acres and a mule. 40 acres at that time was worth about $1.2 million in today's money. And President Andrew Johnson gave it back to the people that waged war on the Union. And a lot of that money has been passed on from generation to generation and bequeathed with the compound interest and the land and all the 100 years of Jim Crow after the Emancipation Proclamation, the pig codes, the black codes, pig laws, all that stuff. Redlining, lynching, Ku Klux Klan, and it was celebrated by the devil's children. Because ain't no way you can tell me that people who want to lynch another person came from God. The devil had offspring too. There's no way you can tell me that people who went around lynching people from trees and had the community come around and watch and set them on fire. And those people had kids too. And they had offspring and grandkids and great-great-grandkids. And some of those same people, they want to burn down their own household. And they found a listening audience also. And they think they're getting into heaven. Ain't no way they're getting into heaven. How do you know, Curry? Because there's no partiality in Christ. And there's too many people trying to hurt others nowadays. Everybody's just, I don't know what to say other than give God praise. And my beautiful grandmother, working with my granddaddy with the 2 churches in Oakland, building a 3rd church in Central California, and running the 2 gas stations in Oakland on Bancroft and Foothill. They were Shell stations. I remember one day walking through a hallway, tiptoeing, trying to get down the hallway, and she touched me on my forehead, and I said, "How in the world does she touch me on my forehead?" I'm walking down the hallway. It's 10 o'clock. She normally goes to bed. Normally goes to bed at 8:30. But she said, "There's something about your voice. I love hearing you speak." And she said, "What are you doing? Trying to get some more cookies?" I said, cookies, baby crap. What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to get my reparations. And I'll take some cookies too. But I just remember how the communities came together back then. But now there's just a lot of families trying to tear each other apart. Just stupid stuff. Just trying to use their mouth, and everything they say, God said you will be condemned. Isaiah 54:17. There's a lot of evil people. They're going to do some suffering. You can't mock God. I love my grandmother with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Then my beautiful father, former United States Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, always making sure that airplanes can fly high so we could all stay safe at night. In fact, my dad's the first one to tell me about the SR-71, the Blackbird. It can fly from Los Angeles, California to Washington, D.C. in 1 hour and 8 minutes. And now that plane is in museums. They can still use those engines and put them on 747s. Instead of taking 6 hours from L.A. to New York, maybe it just take 2 hours. But that's just a thought. The technology exists. Really do appreciate my dad. In fact, in the Air Force, my father's roommate was the late Al Freeman Jr., who played the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. One of my favorite movies, Malcolm X, that was written and produced by the great Spike Lee and acted by my favorite actor, the great Denzel Washington. And I love the part when he was in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with Katharine Hepburn. And when they said, "How are you, young man?" And he said, "King Kong ain't got nothing on me." And he won an award for it. Some people thought it was Training Day, and that Sidney Poitier was the one in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. But either way, that's my story that I'm sticking with it. Really do appreciate my dad. And then my beautiful brother Todd with that bombastic voice, sound like thunder and lightning. Wow, when Todd would speak. Always saying go forward. A voracious reader. Love talking sports and politics. But one of our favorite movies outside of Malcolm X was Pulp Fiction. In the part where, my goodness, when Ben Rames told Bruce Willis before the big fight, he said, "Your butt goes down in the 5th round." And he said, "Say that flip." So Bruce Willis said, "Okay, my butt goes down in the 5th round." And he told him, "That stinging sensation you're feeling, well, that's just pride flipping with you." And he told him what a lot of people deal with in politics. He said, "Flip pride." He said, "Pride only hurts, it never helps." I just love so much about what's going on with the Juneteenth celebrations and how there are states that they're trying to fire teachers for teaching black history. That's like firing the leaf on a tree for letting people know where the root is. What do you think the leaf came from? It came from the root that was planted in the ground. If all life began in Africa on the African continent, according to science, Dr. Leakey and Gregor Mendel, doesn't that tell you that black history is all history? Or African history, even for people who are religious-minded. In the book of Reparations, chapter 1, verses 14 and 15, the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 9 and 10 and 6, it tells you that Christ had hair like lamb's wool and skin the color of brass. That's called black today. That's called celebrating Juneteenth today. Tell it from the mountaintop. Give that some praise. We all came from the same source, no matter what color you are. But we have so much history that's taught by the Ku Klux Klan and their children and the segregationists. And Governor Wallace, segregation now, segregation forever. He taught that garbage with all the hate and vitriol and the slavery and the selling of children and the murdering and lynching of men and the raping of women. I had a white lady tell me, used to be a friend of mine. She said, well, slavery wasn't all that bad because at least people had a free place to sleep. And she called herself a Christian. I said, you telling me that women are being raped shouldn't complain because they got a free place to sleep? People being lynched shouldn't complain because they got a free place to sleep? I told a story yesterday how a lady got fired at a Starbucks for two black men that came in, and they didn't order anything. They were just talking like a lot of people do when they go to Starbucks. When I go to Starbucks, people sometimes just sit down with the computers and talk. And maybe they'll get a coffee after they sat down for 20 minutes. She called the police because she said she was afraid. And the Starbucks was full of people. So her company, Starbucks, fired her for racial discrimination, but a white jury rewarded her with $28 million because she said she was afraid. That's a shame. If that's worth $28 million, what do black people should get for being afraid? When you listen to Juneteenth celebrations, I even heard some of my conservative radio pundits, they're not brethren, they're pundits. Oh, why do we need a Juneteenth celebration? Didn't we already celebrate the end of slavery? Some people, the devil had kids too. It's a shame. But that's what people deal with. I've heard people say, why would we have to take the day off on Juneteenth? We got enough celebrations. Crazy. But people have their own rights to their opinion. And that's an opinion they have. I love praising God. I love God with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. And then my beautiful daughter, Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. College graduate, 2 degrees with honors in 3.5 years. Very smart, erudite, as I always tell you, Isaiah 54:17, that no weapon formed against you will prosper. And when you read about Juneteenth and you understand it, you'll see how society has always tried to tear apart black families. Since 1619, they want black folks in a situation where you're the only one there. Everybody else don't look like you. They will never put themselves in that situation. And that's why I tell you, Isaiah 54:17, no weapon formed against you will prosper. Black women marched for civil rights with black men. And when civil rights was passed, white women walked in and took the management jobs. They didn't get beaten over the head. They weren't sprayed by water hose. And they think, I got my job because I worked hard. No, you didn't. You got it because black folks marched. You got it because black men fought in the Civil War for this country. And we've still been denied. By any means necessary, there will be reparations because there are enough decent people of all colors to see that. Even a blind person can see if that makes sense to you. Daisy scored. She set the very first interview for Big C Sports back at Salem Media. It was the first time in the history of the United States that NFL Monday Night Football started broadcasting live on the Wall Street Business Network. They didn't do it when Rush Limbaugh was there. It took 2 beautiful, intelligent black men and the crew. Still get the letter from station management. But then some good old boys said if 2 N-words can do it, we can bring in some insurrectionists. And they created shenanigans. And it went away. That's what the devil's children do. They try to divide and conquer. But I'm still thriving. They're having layoffs. Daisy also helped set up and college coaches to come to the West Coast to do work with Big C Sports. And I've had so many just foolish people trying to destroy what I'm doing. They don't say much now, but they did when I started. Oh, you talk too much politics. And now I'm invited to speak at national conventions. You can give that some praise. Now being interviewed by the Associated Press. Give that some praise. Some of those same people that tried to destroy what I was doing, we don't need no N-words doing it. They're too arrogant. Who is he to think? Who does he think he is? Trying to tear black men down instead of building up their fathers. Honor your mother and your father that your days may be long, and give that some praise. My daughter scored 6 goals one time in a soccer game. Left footed, she's a right footed kicker. Daisy for the goal, the goal, 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 goal. Love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. But keep in mind, never, ever, ever let anyone separate you from God's word. There's no partiality in God. When you hear people sitting around being evil, trying to tear apart another person with their tongue, God hears it too. Don't be a part of it. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. You're my beautiful, handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. Intelligent, beautiful, erudite, a good man. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Isaiah 54:17. Always pray that God takes care of you. No weapon formed against you will prosper. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. There's so many great things that we can all learn from when we trust God first. Malcolm helped me save trees. I used to always get newspapers and look up stats on players and teams for the Big C Sports Podcast. And one day Malcolm said, Dad, why don't you just Google it? And a light bulb went off. I've been Googling ever since. And now I'm on 27 podcast platforms and 4 TV platforms. Even with all the hate that's come at me, being called the N-word, uppity N-word, by white people. Smiling in your face, trying to tear you down behind your back. It's happened to my great-grandparents, my grandparents, my mother, my father, my brothers and sisters. What a shame. And like I said, I was told the devil had offspring too. And they go around trying to kill, steal, and destroy. Don't let it happen to you. Never be the only one that looks like you in any environment. It's called a setup. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. One day Malcolm said, Dad, do you want to see Big C Sports on TV? And I said, sure. He said, pick up the remote, aim it at the TV, and say, play Big C Sports. You'll see your show come up. That's before it was even on the air. Now it's on 4 TV platforms, soon to be 5. He's spoken into existence. And sometimes when we speak things, God lets it happen if it's good. And Big C Sports is good. That's why I give that praise. My show, I want to also say I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul, Malcolm, and then Big C. All that wealth of knowledge over the years, like my great-granddaddy coming out of that barn with his church buddies, always saying, you got to believe, you got to believe, you got to believe, and let's get ready to rumble. I love to say welcome to the show. It's been nominated Big C Sports Podcast. I have no scripts. I have no teleprompter. I have no producer in my ear. I do it my higher self when I ask God for favor. I want to just touch on, again, for Juneteenth, today's show is different. Curry, you say that all the time. You always say your shows are different. But they are different. The fact that Big C Sports having conversations about doing NFL football broadcast this year. And I put it out there so God can hear it. And because I'm capable and I've proven it, I've done it before, I even won a broadcast excellence award in the Bay Area. But some people said you don't have the right skin color for us to work with us. Because the devil had offspring too. But how many people do you know that produce a show daily? I always produce a show. I direct the topics. I broadcast the shows. I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency we could all use more laughter in our lives. The commercials are done, the stats provided, the storytelling, the play-by-play, runners on first and third, the counts full, the pitch, curveball, swung on in deep, left field, back to the wall, open, say hello to my little friend. I've heard the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep, and then every show is uploaded to 27 multiple podcast platforms out of New York City, and I never miss a show. And I am a very passionate person. I even have more passion today because I heard some good boys saying, why do we need a Juneteenth celebrate? Why do we need to celebrate Juneteenth? What else do they want? And all life came from Africa. People want to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. People want to celebrate Halloween of all places, all days. And then Juneteenth, some people act like they have constipation. All life came from Africa. From the Eve gene. Even the whitest person on the planet came from the Eve gene, just a recessive trait. But when I heard some conservative good boys saying, well, why we need to celebrate Juneteenth? I mean, how in the hell did he get his job? Because the devil hires people too. Oh, we're going to have a Juneteenth. Yeah, what are they going to do? Eat more chicken? Just stupid people. But I've always been taught if stupid people get together and have a baby, they'll have a stupid baby and an ignorant baby. And a lot of those guys work in media. Well, what did Fuzzy Zeller say when Tiger Woods won the first Masters? I guess we're having fried chicken out here. And some people laugh because they've been raised by the devil's parents. And they think that's funny. And we're in 2023 and I still hear that garbage. What are we going to do? What do they want another holiday for? What are they going to do? Eat more chicken? And that's funny to the devil's kids. Crazy. I want to touch on something that's important that I want to talk about. It's important to me, and that's why I love mentioning it. But first, I'm going to take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. And when I come back, I'm going to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart. I'll be back in just a moment. All right, I'm back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 27 podcast applications all across the universe and streaming on 4 TV platforms. But I found something that I wanted to talk about that was near and dear to me because I love sports. I had a lady pray at me one time before I even started Big C Sports. She said, sports is your religion, that you're going to connect people all over the world through your sports show. And I still have the memory of when she spoke on that. Because I've been able to broadcast during the Olympics in Tokyo, Japan. I've been able to have callers in from the Olympics in Tokyo, Japan. NBA draft, NFL draft. But I want to say this. It's called Big C Sports and Esports Communities Celebrate Juneteenth to take action for social justice. And I never understood how social justice could bother people. And people say they love Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who said, if you can't run, it said, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. And I don't know who would have a problem with that. But when I heard some good boys saying in 2023, oh, why we have to celebrate another holiday? What are they going to do? What are they going to do, eat more chicken? Like Fuzzy Zeller said that when Tiger won the Masters. And some people laugh because the devil had offspring too. But BC Sports is called Esports, and Checkpoint XP are honored to join Access Replay and esports community at a virtual gathering in solidarity with other organizations to celebrate Juneteenth. And it's a time to reflect and rejoice in the progress achieved by Black American communities and the reminder of what it is still left to do And the event will showcase celebrity guests, spark discussions, educate viewers, and highlight esports gameplay and more. And there's a lot that's going on throughout the world when it comes to getting people to break bread. Like Dr. King encouraged people to break bread. Reverend Billy Graham broke bread with Dr. King. Could you believe that Dr. King was one of the most hated people by the FBI at the time because he was preaching solidarity and people coming together? He wasn't really praised until he was assassinated. And then people act like they love him. Even the state of Arizona voted against a Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday because he told people, let's all sit together at the table of brotherhood. I remember when I was in college, young boy, I had 2 Caucasian friends. I had more than that, but 2 Caucasian friends. I thought they were really cool guys, laughing and talking with them. And one day, they thought I'd left. And they were looking down in the garbage area. There was a black man, getting some boxes. And I heard them say, look at that stupid N-word in the garbage. After just kissing my butt. And I came back in and they looked at me like, oh, we didn't know you were here. I didn't say anything to them. I mean, I could have saved my punching them through the face and knocking their teeth out, but that's for stupid people. I just realized the devil had kids too. I was taught that. I didn't cuss them out, but I never spoke to them again. And every time they saw me on campus, they dropped their head down because they knew they were the devil's children. And I'm not. But I think about when I heard that same type of garbage on the radio today from a conservative radio station. Why do we gotta celebrate Juneteenth? What are they gonna do, eat more chicken? And like, how did they pass the background check to get that job? Juneteenth is the oldest nationally celebrated commemoration of the ending of slavery in the United States, and a reminder of the pride and resilience and determination of African Americans, Black Americans in American history. And COVID had its issues. People couldn't celebrate the way they wanted to. But me as Big C Sports, I really want to do more. And I want to do my best by giving all people factual information. It may have been that before you. It's not for everybody. Some people love you when you got on a uniform if you're black. Hey, you play football? You play basketball? You play baseball? And Black Americans fought in every war this country's had. I want to be an ally to diversity and inclusion. Like Dr. King. I want to do more. That's why I refuse to just be a dumb jock talking about who won the game. Who's bigger and faster? Look at how fast this guy runs. Woo! Look at how high he can jump. I don't want to be that kind of guy. I know some people are trained to listen to that kind of person. I want to make a difference through my love of God and my love of sports. Sports has been the only thing in my life that's seen people get together. I played college football with guys who would consider themselves Aryan, guys who would consider themselves skinheads, some guys consider themselves Bloods and Crips. I've seen a lot of junk that people believed in, but they came together through sports. And some of those guys, we started calling each other, hey, what's up, brother? And sports brought us together. Plus, we had a coach who was not a bigot, and he wouldn't put up with that garbage. But he made people come together. But still, people go to segregated churches. People trying to have more and more segregated neighborhoods. Trying to tear down other groups of people instead of build people up. But the cowards do it in private. They're ashamed of how they think. That's why they only say it when they have other dumb people around them that won't challenge them. Through the observance of Black American freedom with an emphasis on education, achievement, assessment, improvement, and celebration. The Juneteenth events will reflect on this day of independence through the shared voices in different communities. I love being a part of that. I don't have the answer for everything, but black history is American history. Without black soldiers fighting in the Civil War, we would not be the United States of America. The Confederates would have won. It was black Americans that saved the Union, along with white soldiers. But if the black soldiers didn't participate, if they knew they were not going to get the 40 acres and a mule, why fight? Just go to Canada. It would not become the United States. Black history is an essential part of the history of the United States. It's important that we continue to promote awareness, create safe spaces, and be inclusive in cities across the country. People of all races, nationalities, and religions are joining forces to truthfully acknowledge a period in our history that continues to influence and shape our society today. And being intelligently sensitive to the conditions and experiences of others is vital for us as a people of Americans to make significant and lasting improvements in our society. And that's Big C Sports. I just love being a part of what God has allowed me to do. The next is the $100 million. That's going to happen. I'm so convinced now because after being interviewed by the Associated Press, the only sportscaster in the history of this country, a sportscaster being asked about reparations. March 29th, 2023, Janie Hart wrote the article. And now being asked to MC one of the most seminal moments in the history of black Americans. The National Black Wall Street Project 2023 Summit Awards and Barbecue, Saturday, June 17th, 2023, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Solutions Now is at the First AME Church, Los Angeles, California, 2270 South Harvard Boulevard, in the beautiful city of Los Angeles. It's put on by the inimitable Reverend Tony Pierce, the president and CEO of the National Black Wall Street Project. He helped the family get $20 million because they had land taken from them. He helped them get it. You didn't hear a lot about it on TV. He's going to help reparations also get passed. United Nations wants reparations to be passed in the United States to repair the harm done to African Americans. Oh, what did we do? Another holiday for? What was Juneteenth for? To eat more chicken? I just say, hey, the devil had kids too. But all life came from Africa. Even the dumbest person on the planet can Google that. And if you're that dumbest person, Google it. Read the teachings of Dr. Leakey and Gregory Mendel. But everybody has their own thoughts about it. I just love the way things have been opening up for me with that pineal gland, the third eye. Give the third eye some praise. I'm so grateful. So no matter what people do for the holidays, I hope that people can get together and just do what makes you happy. If you don't want to celebrate it, don't celebrate it. If you want to celebrate it, learn something, celebrate it and learn something. Get the U.S. Open in beautiful Los Angeles, California. Be making an appearance there in Southern California. And I just appreciate so many doors that have opened, like my mother said it would. She said, you just keep giving God praise, just keep praying, and keep doing what you love, and God will open doors for you. But don't think it's going to come by somebody affirming some action. You got to create your own platform and let God give it life to it. And when I do get the $100 million, I'm going to bless even more people to create their own platforms. Because that's important. It gives that some praise. God is my word. I want to also congratulate Tyler Perry for buying BET, Black Entertainment Television. I just hope they does more news programming like ABC News or CBS News our NBC News have news programming as well as TV shows and sports. Maybe this is the NFL on BET. Maybe this is the NBA on BET. This is Big C Sports on BET. Whatever it is, just make it happen. Give it praise. I love talking about things that are important. They're important to everybody. Everybody wants to be significant. At some point in time, I think our country is better when people break bread together. But I know we live in a society where people rather burn down the house and then go to church as if God loves that. I'm not saying anything that people don't already know. People do what they want to do. I just wish everybody the very best. And coming up for this beautiful holiday, I hope that people will learn more about how reparations is important. It's the nation's biggest sin. It means to repair. Currency is fiat. It's not backed by gold. Don't have a problem with seeing the repair done. There are people like Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, whose great-granddaddies owned slaves. On both sides, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said recently opposes paying government reparations to the descendants of African slaves. He has a family history deeply entwined in the issue. Two of his great-great-grandfathers were slave owners in the United States. James McConnell and Richard Daley owned a total of at least 14 slaves in Limestone County, Alabama. All but 2 were female. What do you think they were doing to those women? Senator Mitch McConnell has that blood money in his bank account. He has land that was given to black Americans. And he has unclean hands. I don't think it's necessary for us to pay reparations for something we stole over 150 years ago. If somebody went and stole what he has right now, he'd want to have him prosecuted. Crooked, just a crooked person. But he too can atone. It's not up to him. And there's a message growing around that's going to gain more steam like a tidal wave, like a tsunami. Soon will be a tidal wave. No reparations, no vote. Stomp all you want. No reparations, no vote. If that makes sense to you. Tell it from the mountaintop that reparations will pass in 2023. I love being factual. You can Google everything I say. Don't believe it just because I say. Just be honest. Google something that you want to know about. Life is important. And telling the truth is important. We all stumble and fall at times, but we got to get back up. I've heard the story, fall down 8 times, get up 9 times. Always rise and shine. Always get up. Always stand up. Do the best you can. Keep hope alive. Do the best you can. Keep hope alive. And pray. Get on your knees and pray. Sometimes I thought, man, God, there's a scripture in the Bible, and I felt like it's been my life at times. It's like walking along the beach, I saw one set of footprints. My mother had given me this story. And I said, God, why have you forsaken me? And he said, my precious, precious child, when you saw one set of footprints on the sand, it was I who carried you. It's starting to make more sense now because of so many miracles that are showing up in my life. But God had to get the dirt out first. God had to get rid of the dirt. There are people who will speak ill against you and try to destroy you, and that can hit your subconscious mind. God has to get those people out of your life. And then you start to see it when you have the Moet manifestations. And that's why I love giving God praise. And I always will praise God with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Trust in the Lord with all thy heart, mind, body, and soul. Lean not unto thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. I understand it now. As I always tell you, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Mothers against drunk drivers are mad. Fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Jubudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, you sting like a big rumble, young man, rumble. People say, with all you've got to use, how can you lose? All of them say I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat. All the Big C burgers make me light on my feet. That's why I float like a butterfly and I sting like a bee. My beautiful mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. If you know any man, woman, or child going through that garbage, pick up the phone and call 911. Because things change when the police show up. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. Well, as I always tell you, on every Big C Sports Show, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day. In the words of the great Abraham Lincoln, reparations now, reparations forever. In the words of the great President Abraham Lincoln, reparations now, reparations forever. In the words of the great President Abraham Lincoln, reparations now, reparations forever. I thank you. Have a super fantastic day.